Hello everyone, Not Dim Zero here, and I'm gonna try and make this not too long of a video, but if you can tell from the title, this is my comparative type of video between The Last of Us and Days Gone. Although I don't really see why there should be a comparison. I feel like both games should I don't exist without this kind of comparative shit, but I'm seeing it everywhere. Reviewers are comparing this to the. I mean, they're both owned by Sony, so why does that really matter? I mean, I don't know. I guess people really just want to look at The Last of Us as being this like god tier level. Yes, I kind of agree with that statement though, because in terms of storytelling, The Last of Us really did set the bar high for strong narrative storytelling, because not a lot of games have that these days. Only seems to be Sony that has that, and really for good reason. I mean, Sony does have the best track record when it comes to their stories. God of War, I think, God, that one was more compared to The Last of Us than Days Gone. Whereas Days Gone, I compare it more to Horizon Zero Dawn. Uh, the reason why I compare it more to Horizon Zero Dawn is because both games are open world. Both games are like they just have these really nice landscapes around them. God of War is open world, kind of. It's not a wide open world though. When I was playing it made me think of Zelda Wind Waker. So I could say God of War is more The Last of Us than anything else. Just how they handle the storytelling between uh, Atreus and Kratos. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic here. The whole point is that um, I don't like that there's a comparison between a game that's open world and has similar themes to The Last of Us, whereas, I don't know, if I'm judging it as an open world game, I would judge this more closely to Horizon Zero Dawn. Both games are just highly similar to each other in terms of how you're gathering for crafting stuff. Um, Even the map system in Days Gone is real similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. I pointed it out to a couple of people at GameStop the other day, and they agreed with me because they never thought about it. But when I pointed it out, more than just a few things really, they thought about it and they were more in line with me at that. Um, I think the world of Days Gone is just a bit more alive in a lot of ways than Horizon Zero Dawn. In Horizon, yeah, you'll see the different machines out and about, but you never really see the people and the machines interact much. At least not to my gameplay that I played, because I don't remember seeing a lot of like people out and about in the world, and then they're out encountering machines. If that's happened to a couple of players, okay, sure, then. But I haven't seen that. Not to say that the world of Horizon isn't alive. It's just I don't know. It just seems so much more so in Days Gone. Uh, but I do like what I have seen though for in terms of Days Gone's just open world. I like that there are bandit camps, and I really like how you can pretty much cause different things to happen. Like you can lure animals into the area, and if you manage to lose their attention, they'll turn their attention on anyone who's in the bandit camps. I liked luring the large hordes that showed up. I would be raiding a bandit camp, and if I see that there was a bunch of enemies nearby, I would use an attractor to draw them in. That to me was fun. The Last of Us didn't have anything like that. Like they started introducing in the Left Behind DLC where you can have infected interact with other enemies, and that was cool, but it wasn't just at the level of what Days Gone has done. Days Gone had definitely a lot more enemies to deal with, and because it's open world, yeah, you can freely take out enemies however you feel you can, whether it's fighting off hordes of infected, having the hordes of infected try pretty much slaughter the other camps or whatever. You have shit like that happening, and to me, it's just that much more fun that they do it that way. That I feel that there are more options. The Last of Us, I feel like in terms of story, it kind of grabs you right at the throat in The Last of Us, where it's slowly drawing you in, because the beginning of The Last of Us is slow, but it builds up and it stays at 10 the entire time with very little moments of slowing down. Days Gone kind of had a bit of a different approach. It had a similar beginning to The Last of Us. It's just you don't participate in any of the escaping or evacuation like you do in The Last of Us. You're more or less just witnessing it, and then you're thrown into the game a couple years later. There's no big time jump like there is in The Last of Us, where it's 20 years later. It's just two. But the intro's pretty much the same. You have a buddy that helps that's been with you out in this world, and you're after a former associate that's pretty much screwed you over, kind of like Robert in The Last of Us when Tess and Joel were hunting him down. The only big difference is there's no girl character or really any type of character that sticks with you throughout the entire game, because really when you're playing as Deacon St. John, he's just on his own. There's nobody there helping him. He's a loner. Even though that his best friend is the other biker guy between them, Boozer really more or less just gives a bit of a moral support kind of thing. The only communication he has mostly in the game is just through his radio, and it's not often at all that you talk to other characters in the game through the radio. You'll either get jobs, or as long as certain story aspects were met, you'll actually get to see or hear different conversations, but not much. It tries to do the whole story narrative by giving you a little bit of context in between missions and stuff, such as like in The Last of Us, when you're exploring with Ellie, they have the little tidbit of conversations and they learn more about each other, and really as the player you learn more about them. Like, you learn about Ellie's sense of humor, especially with the rather annoying joke book, which was just funny. You learn a bit more about Joel's past, not by much, but like whenever you get when you get ambushed and after you get your truck from Bill, Ellie actually asks Joel, has he ever done anything like what they do, and he didn't really feel like he needed to answer that because he didn't have to explain himself what he did to survive back in the day. But it was just nice to know that, yeah, Joel used to be like those assholes, and even now it's like, yeah, it's all about survival in The Last of Us. Days Gone, yeah, there's survival and there are bandit camps that you have to take down. I think Deacon St. John has a bit more morals than Joel. I'm almost certain that if either character have ever met, I don't think Deacon would like Joel so much. Because, yeah, Joel protected Ellie and all that stuff, but Joel didn't seem to have any qualms about anybody that got in his way as long as Ellie was safe. I've also noticed that unlike The Last of Us, Days Gone, it seems like they didn't the developers didn't have a problem having female enemies, because yeah, you have the child adolescent zombie like creatures, the newts. I'll get back to the whole zombie statement in a minute. A lot of people are complaining, yeah, you're killing kids in the game, and it's like, well, they're infected and there's not much you can do about it. And you also have female bandits, which it surprised me. I just kept thinking, like, The Last of Us, okay, there's really only guys that you're killing. I haven't seen any female enemies while playing The Last of Us. Whereas in Days Gone, when you're in the bandit camps, if you're caught out, it's funny how some of the female characters kind of try to lure you out if to get you to lower your weapons. It was kind of interesting. I just thought, okay, so there's a bit more variety in enemies, and the fact that you're killing women as well as men. It's not. It just makes it it makes it more real in a lot of ways. I do like that Deacon does have a code that he doesn't kill women unless he has to, as he put it. But for the most part, yeah, it burns him up. I like that his moral code. And I do like there's a bit of humor, and I think it's done right in Days Gone. There was this one bounty that he had to go after, and they mentioned the disgusting habit where he takes cigarette butts and he chews them, and the bounty, ugh, God, just knowing that about the bounty, I like how Deacon's like, oh, well, that just gives me another reason to kill him. And I'm like, fuck yeah. It's like, God, that's gross, but it's just little things like that I enjoy, where they show that there's a bit of humor in the game, and despite the fact that it's a post-apocalyptic type world. Another thing is that I almost thought they were going to do a Last of Us bit, because you do find a young girl named Lisa in Days Gone, and her character design kind of looked like Ellie with short hair, at least to me. And I just kept thinking, oh God, please, I don't want, if they start doing that, and the thing is, they didn't. They could have done that, but they didn't. Because the thing is, the character of Lisa, she shows up maybe 4 times in the game, and when she showed up, she was reluctant. She had apparently survived 2 years on her own without much of a problem from the infected or any of the psychopaths. I don't know why I said the infected. The freakers.
Over here, Joel.
And every time you encounter her, she doesn't really want your help per se, but she respects Deacon enough to know that, yeah, he's a good person. There's 4 different camps that you deal with in Days Gone. Each one of them have their own morals, but the Lost Lake camp is really the only one that's more in line with Deacon's character. The Last of Us, you don't have to worry about running into camps or stuff. It's a point A, point B type game, and that's where The Last of Us really kind of just stands out between the two of them. It's a big world in The Last of Us, but you don't explore it. You kind of just pass by and see it, and you see the different characters along the way, enemies that you have to deal with, and just moments that really make the Last of Us truly a unique experience. Days Gone, they don't try to emulate that, but they do. You do get a feeling that yes, they really wanna make you feel for these characters. It's just because it's open world, you don't get that kind of connection, because it's just wash, rinse, repeat of how the open world stuff is done, with taking out different bandit camps and stuff. There's no set story where you feel more attached to the characters as you do in The Last of Us. Not to say that you can't get attached to Deacon St. John, because there were moments where I kind of teared up a bit. There were some moments I'm like, damn, it just got real, more real than I expected it. Because there was a lot of unexpected moments in Days Gone that I'm like, holy shit, yeah, okay, they did that. And yeah, there were a lot of revenge moments where it's there are the characters that you really want to take out, but you just couldn't deal with at that time. I still think The Last of Us, story-wise, excuse me, The Last of Us story-wise was just, to me, the overall better experience. But it's not like you're not gonna get a good experience while playing Days Gone. I think Days Gone definitely had some good things going for it, and I want to see more out of that game. I hope they get a sequel at some point, because honestly, to me, is just that much of a good game, and it should stand on its own. To compare it with The Last of Us, I mean, it's kind of hard not to because the premise is almost identical. Just the differences are the infected and the freakers are different. The freakers are more like vampires to me. If anything, they're like the creatures from I Am Legend. In fact, the way they describe them in the game, if you watched I Am Legend and then you played Days Gone, you almost instantly think I Am Legend over The Last of Us. There's so much to talk about, but I would like to know your guys' opinions. Let me know. Like, do you agree that there should be more of a comparison between The Last of Us and Days Gone? I honestly think there shouldn't be, but I still took the time to at least compare both games to some degree. It's just one's open world, the other is self-contained and an A to B type game. They both have their own different quips about them, but they to me both games are worth checking out. Days Gone, I know it's putting off a lot of people just because of the reviews, but I'm just saying make up your own mind, go check it out, rent it or something. You don't have to buy it, but I'm saying don't count the game out just because you hear a few reviewers shitting on it out the gate and immediately saying, well, The Last of Us did it better. They're two different games. I think the cutscenes could have been handled better for Days Gone, honestly. But you guys would have to experience that to understand what I mean by that. Anyway, you guys take care.